Hi, I'm Emily,
Hi, I'm Alex.
and this is Girls Who Music. Welcome everyone to Girls Who Music. We are here with Josh and Charlie from Yumi Zouma. Hello.
Hey!
How are you guys doing?
Doing very good in the beautiful St. Kevin's Arcade, which is one of Auckland's true gems.
It really is.
Totally.
Yeah. I sound like I work for the council or something at the moment, eh? But we were literally, weren't we? We were like looking around and being like, oh, that restaurant's great, that's a great place to wine. It really is a cool spot. And with Whammy as well. Shout out to St. Kevin himself.
Yeah, period.
I love St. Kevin's Arcade. We're here quite often.
I would say it's like our second home.
It feels like our second home. It feels very natural to be here.
And somewhat newly renovated, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, newly-ish.
Newish.
Yeah.
Newish.
Do you guys have a song of the week you would like to share?
And it's Playing Classics by Water From Your Eyes. Yeah. And it's special to me because I went to see them in London when I first started dating my girlfriend Anna, who was with us off camera.
She's off camera, you guys can't see her.
Oh my god, stop, that's so sweet. I love that.
It's perfect.
That's a perfect song of the week. There you go.
And my song is over 1,000 years old, and it is a hymn. No, it's not. It is actually. I was sneakily looking at my phone just so I get the title right. But there is this edit of The Clash, Rock the Casbah, and Ranking Roger.
Okay.
And it's very, very good. It's sort of like a dance hall-y type thing. But I got obsessed with the song through TikTok. Actually, I heard it on TikTok. I'm very on TikTok. But it's amazing. It is very cool, and it's like, I mean, who doesn't love The Clash, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, it really recontextualized that song for me.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I love
shout
that.
out.
That's
You should
cracker.
DJ it at your DJ set.
Oh, I will be at
Yeah.
Goblin on, do I say it's on Thursday night? Because
Yeah,
it's
tomorrow
midnight,
night.
but it's
It is.
midnight.
This podcast will be out.
Oh yeah, it won't be
After.
after.
But that's okay.
But it's still fine to talk about.
Well, if you missed it, it was insane.
Yeah.
We were
Everyone
there,
was
was-
there.
yeah.
Everyone was
Cameron
going
Winter
crazy.
did a solo show on a ukulele. Pink Panthers did a backflip. And Chapel Roan was playing Uno with everyone. So you missed it. Joke's on you.
What's your song of the week?
My song of the week is by Dropper. They're a band from Wellington. Have you guys heard of them?
No.
They're great. We interviewed them a few months back, and they recently released their album. It's called Didn't Want to Be Your Light. So they're kind of like rock, indie rock.
They have like a 90s.
Yeah, 90. It feels kind of like
vibe to
90s.
it.
Yeah, they opened for Wonder Horse here, and 95BFM did a review on them and said that they're really skins coded.
Yes.
Did you guys watch that show?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
such a good way to describe them.
Quick explainer for anyone that's not familiar with Skins was a very popular UK TV show.
Yeah.
Bristol,
Bristol.
2000s. One of the characters was called Effie.
Iffy.
Yeah.
But it is
Yeah.
a very encapsulation of maybe just pre-internet, pre-social media debauchery of teenagers. Check it out.
Used to be obsessed
Obsessed with
Skins.
Hey, quick bit of Kiwi trivia.
Yes.
The US version of Skins, which got cancelled very quickly,
yes.
features Lawrence Arabia Apple Pie Beds, the New Zealand artist, is in the show. The song is, but then it got cancelled.
You know a lot.
Yeah, you
I
have
know,
that.
I've
a
been
lot of
a-
things.
Like
I've been
your
around
brain.
for millennia. I may look this age, but I am I'm a lizard.
I'm a lizard.
Yeah, that's why my favorite song is a hymn. But we need another song of the week.
Yes. Mine is Girl Get Up by Doechii and SZA. Just literally obsessed with both of them, and I love that song, and I needed some motivation this week.
Hell
so
yeah.
that was my motivation.
So can you guys talk to us about Yumi Zouma, how you guys first came together, because you had quite an interesting start to forming your band.
Yeah, I mean, so Charlie and I played in bands all through university, and then
Rockquest.
we
Oh my
met
God,
at
stop, that's really
literally
cute.
met at RockQuest. Oh yeah, so in the 2000s, RockQuest was like going viral on TikTok.
Yeah.
Well,
You should
you
be a marketer, salesperson for TikTok.
Well, now it's the rock-free smoke quest.
Yeah.
You know, with
From Palmerston North. I'm from Christchurch.
yep, and we
Leading bands.
We were pitted against one another. They took us into a room and they said, there is one great band here, and neither of us won. So then I moved to New York, and well, I moved to Christchurch.
Okay.
We played in a band together called Bang Bang Itch.
University of Canterbury.
Yeah. And honestly, that was sort of like our education, that we were lucky enough that we went to South by Southwest and CMJ and played in Europe. And even though we played to a grand total of 700 people over the course of 3.5 years, so you do the maths on that, I feel like it kind of gave us a taste of, just like music outside of New Zealand. And this is sort of early days of like internet blog culture.
Yeah.
I say this is a long-winded introduction into how maybe even I moved to New York knowing that there was these sort of like music scenes and industry and stuff like that. So I moved to New York and in 2012, and because we had a big earthquake in Christchurch. Man, this is getting very granular.
It's good.
I suppose
give us
it's a
all the
podcast.
detail.
I forget, I'm so TikTok brain rotted that I'm talking at I'm like 2 times, when you watch something that somebody's
You're like, I
already
just wanna speed
edited,
up. Yeah.
and then you edit them up, and it's like, but like that. And then I moved to New York, and then me and Charlie started a remote collaboration.
Yes.
And the whole early things were just honestly just kind of for ourselves, just messing around, keeping our connection together. We made a couple songs.
We made one song in particular. On April 18th, 2013, we made
It's true.
a long one for Departed Lovers. And we decided, Josh didn't know, I decided to start an email address, gmail.com, and just send it out to all of the label people I could think of. And I sent it to someone he was actually friends with, a guy called Jeff Braden, who owned a label called Cat Scene in America. And he replied, "Wow, this is great. Is there more?" And I said, "Yes."
We said, give us 24 hours.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And so Josh and I had to furiously start a band, record music, and then that sort of got big on blogs. There was a blog called Gorilliness of Fear that started posting about us. And then
we got asked to go on tour.
Yes.
True.
And
Quite
we,
quickly, right?
we
After
had never had a
you-
band practice
Yes.
because we all lived in different countries, right?
Yeah.
And so Chet Baker asked us to tour Australia,
Yeah.
and then Lord asked us to do the Pure Heroine tour of New Zealand.
Yeah, wow.
So our first shows were Victor Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty.
It was hectic. It was very hectic.
It was very hectic.
And also kind of hectic at the time. I was working at a record label in New York, and I'd kept the band completely quiet. That when we got our first Pitchfork review, no one in the office believed me that it was my
Of
project.
course. Yeah.
People just did not believe
They're
it
like,
until
you're
I
absolutely lying.
Yeah, people were like, no. They're like, what? Real? And everyone was, there was lots of this. I mean, this is terrible I know we got the cameras, but there will be some people audio, but I'm doing the skeptical dog meme, the dachshund side-eye. They were like, what? So it was a weird era of stuff, but it was very much that kind of thing of we had tried so hard in other bands that sort of when you stop trying, you can't, I don't know, you're set free a little bit.
Yeah. You're just like, well, we'll just do whatever.
Yeah.
See what happens.
And since then, it has just been a cycle of stopping to caring too much, stopping caring too much, and we've just kept that cycle going for the best part of a decade.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, because you've been together for a really long time as a
Yeah.
band since you formed. So how did all of you then form if you all live in different countries?
Yeah.
Did you meet online?
No, so we knew each other from the aforementioned Rock Free Smoke Quest. And Christy, our singer, we knew from the Christchurch music scene.
Right.
Okay.
So, even though the band is a remote project for the most part, Christchurch is sort of our spiritual homeland, that's where the band sort of formed and everything. So there's definitely the physical connection to it in that regard. It's not like we were sliding into DMs and,
Could
And
you
it's such a
imagine?
small music scene. We're always playing in different bands together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So when you guys record, I mean, you guys do you guys set time aside during the year to get together and record, or how does it all work if you guys are all
More and more like that. Like
Yeah,
previously when we
yeah.
first started, it was like how we described with the first song, just sending
Yeah.
files back and forth.
Wow, yeah.
Because we both have Logic Pro, like home recording setups. We
Yeah.
can do everything at home if we wanted. But
Yeah.
now we've got a bit more money because we've got labels
Yeah.
and we're touring and stuff like that. So we can get studios overseas and be in a room together. So it's a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's nice.
and
Right.
you know, the record before this was probably like a return to that remote stuff because of COVID.
Right.
And it was like, I remember at the time, like lots of people being like, oh, you would be so well suited for this because you've done this before. But like remote stuff is hard, you
Yeah,
know?
it's really hard.
It's really tough just, you know, on
Especially
like,
for a band.
yeah, and especially for like, it's easier being together that you can get a buy-in on an idea really quickly.
Totally.
And you can get people on board. That's like, there's nothing more devastating that I think we can both attest to of working really hard on something and then sending it over and people being like,
Yeah.
maybe.
There are pros and cons. Like you can set it up like a forward production line where someone, especially if you're in different time zones, you send it to someone while you're sleeping. They can work on it. They have time and space to experiment that you wouldn't get like when you're physically with someone in the studio and you're embarrassed about what maybe someone might think if you mess around with their idea. But the con is you don't get like the instant feedback loop when you're in a studio bouncing ideas off each other
Yeah.
and creating something completely fresh that you would never
Yeah.
come up with on your own. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
more time
Yeah.
consuming.
yeah.
Going back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like a different energy, I guess, as well, rather than being together.
Oh
sure.
yeah, like it's so fun to bounce off each other too.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
I always say that one of my favorite songs on this record is the last one, Waiting for the Cards to Fall, because that was a complete mistake how it happened. We were jamming like in the studio
Oh,
and
yes.
then like we were moving parts of the song around and Olivia was like, oh, let's put the bass there, and it was like not in the right place but it sounded cool, and
Yes.
stuff like that would never
I
happen.
remember
right?
hearing
Yeah.
about this. Yeah, that's so sick.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I
How
love that.
amazing.
Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. You never know what's going to happen.
And that was in Mexico City. That's where we first started recording the album.
Okay, wow, yeah.
So why Mexico? Did you just all decide to meet there?
We were on tour.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, because you guys have been touring then for quite a while, and you have been touring all over.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, we've been really lucky that playing shows with Yumi Zouma has taken us from everywhere from like Queenstown to Tokyo to, you know, McAllen, Texas, which is like a very remote part of Texas, Iceland, Europe, you know. So we've always been really blessed that we've been able to see the world and doing this, and it's always nice to pause in some of these places because oftentimes when you're on tour you're really in and out.
Yeah.
And I'd been to Mexico City a few times living in the US, and I was really excited to, you know, we actually, as we were booking the tour, we said to our booking agent, like, we want to take 10 days off in the middle of this to book a studio, to hang out, to eat good food, and just sort of like, you know, be together and do that.
Oh, that's nice. Good
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah, and that was sort of the genesis of that idea. And I also find, like, you know, the EP we did before this as well, we did in Japan, and I do find that, like, there's something nice about taking everyone out of their day-to-day,
Yeah.
you know? I remember, like, you know, when you're on holiday, it's like 10 days feels like a month, and then,
Yeah.
like, you're back home and 10 days can go by in a flash.
Yeah.
I think it's good to sort of just take the brain out of your everyday, because then you let your guard down, or you're not like, I don't know, you're not walking around your neighborhood in London or New York or Melbourne or whatever,
Yeah.
and you're seeing people and being like, what are they going to think of my
Yeah.
song or whatever. You're just sort of like so overwhelmed with everything being new.
Yeah.
I think you may be a little bit more open to
Oh,
doing new things.
totally. And just like, you just, I don't know, every time I'm overseas, I'm just straight away inspired by like literally the littlest
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can imagine that would be good. That's so cool. I'm like, can I join Yumi Zouma?
Yeah,
Yeah,
can we
come
come
on
on tour with you? No, that's
Europe next
amazing.
month.
Recording
Europe, yeah,
overseas.
Europe next month. Yeah, your fan
Yeah.
base is like very broad
Yeah.
then.
It's
Yeah.
very
International.
US centric.
Yeah.
I think because
Yeah.
we've always been signed to American
Yeah.
record labels, so
Yeah.
we've always toured there mainly.
But honestly, we have been lucky that, like, wherever we play a show, that there are like Yumi Zouma fans that come. Like, you know, last shows we played were in China, and I was so skeptical. I was like, there ain't no way that somebody in like Beijing has heard of us, because, you know, like, China has a very different like cultural world, and
also like the streaming services,
Yeah.
right? They've got different
It's
ones. It's not just
different.
Spotify.
That's so
Yeah.
true,
So-
actually.
So I have no idea what we're on or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how people listen to us.
but
Yeah.
the homies
How
pulled
was
up. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
yeah.
Nice. Shout out to the homies.
Which is
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Could you guys talk to us about the process of No Love, Lost to Kindness? Me and Alex were talking about, like, it definitely has like a grungier feel to it. Was that the intention of the album, or you just kind of just seeing what came out?
We
Yeah.
never
Out of
really
it?
sit down and
Yeah.
say this is what we want it to sound like.
Yeah.
It's just a
What
natural thing. I
happens?
mean, we're like 4 songwriters, right? And
Yeah.
it's just like, I guess maybe what we're listening to at the time it does have an influence.
I think as well, by virtue of us being in the middle of touring, that like when you're playing shows, you get a bit more raucous. Like
Yeah.
I even find that the way that I play guitar is very different live to when I'm in the studio. You know,
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
kind
interesting.
of because there's lots of mini guitar parts on a record. When you're playing it live, you find ways to play them all at once. And when I listen to the record, it definitely feels a little bit more like, you know, actually playing the parts a bit more. So I think that like, yeah, so Mexico City was sort of the genesis of it, where we got like the first batch of songs, and that sort of set the intention and carried us through to maybe about 3 or 4 other in-person sessions where there was a little bit of writing as well that was going on and things were being brought to there, but like it did feel like everything sort of existed in the context of those sessions, and then like it was kind of the record that we tinkered with the least, I think. Like we, in the past, we really would like get all the files and we would like make a ton of edits of songs and this sort of stuff, where this was sort of like we were really intentional in preserving like the last time we were all together, even if it was a song that someone had written and brought to the group and we'd worked on. It sort of felt like that was a line in the sand, and like let's preserve that feeling.
I think maybe in Mexico City we had a clearer idea of what kind of sound we wanted the album to make, whereas previously we've always done like, oh, this is like a good song, but maybe it would sound good as like a disco edit, or maybe it would sound good as a ballad, and we just tinker and tinker and tinker and have like 10 different versions and then choose the best one. Whereas this one we were like, yeah, it needs to be a rock album.
It's great. Fucking
So
love it.
good. We love it.
Yeah. Do you, so you guys all take part in writing lyrics to the songs? How does that all work?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a combination. I mean, like there are sometimes there are songs that are written and are sort of bought that will have like a lot of that stuff done, and then there'll be like edits and stuff. But then there are other ones where, like for instance, a song called "Drag" on the record was like
That's my favourite.
Christy really, you know, found a place to talk
Yeah.
about something that she wanted to, and you know, really just sort of went for it in that. And I think maybe even on this one, like even though there are sections of songs that might be more this person or that person, it does feel a little bit more one person perspective in parts, but definitely lyrically we all do sort of partake in that, I would say. But we've had some really painful experiences in the past of literally like going like line by line and being like, what if it was the cat sat on the mat, and someone's like, nah, it should be the hat, and like I feel like, I mean, this album was a bit of an exercise of just letting go a little bit, I think, of a lot of stuff, and just being like, just like let it run its course, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
think
so
it speaks
cool.
for itself. It's a fantastic album.
I agree. Yeah, it does feel quite free. Like
It
even when
does.
you listen to it, it feels very freeing to
Yeah.
listen to. You guys have obviously been together as a band for quite some time, and through those times, have you always all lived separately?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how, because you've created quite a lot of music together over this time period, how do you think you've navigated, I guess, like interpersonal relationships through that time, like as a band? Is it helpful that you're not together physically in the same place?
Yeah.
Or is it detrimental at times? Like just working on something so big for so long.
Yeah.
You know, and
Touring.
touring as well. Like how have you navigated that?
I mean, like, I think as anyone will tell you, you do anything for a long period of time with people, and people change or just go through different phases and that sort of stuff. And I think that, like, the only thing I can sort of speak to in that is, like, you just have patience and allow people grace, you know, like, because, you know, there are some, you know, someone will go through a breakup at a different time as someone else, or someone will be really struggling with trying to find their identity, or like, you know, it's also like we started the band in our early 20s and now we're in like our mid 30s. Like that's a whole change as well. And I think that it's just about like accepting and acknowledging that people do change, and just not holding on too tightly, I think, to like how things were, and just, you know,
keep moving forward.
Yeah, but I mean, it's to answer the question though of like being together versus being apart, I think it can be like a blessing and a curse, you know, because it's like, you know, anyone that's dealt with like a long distance relationship, it's like, you know, I keep saying that like one of the things that's really tough for us is the perfect time for a call for us is like 7 a.m. in Melbourne, 4:35 for me in New York, and then like nearly midnight for Charlie. So it's like Christy's waking up. I've just finished work and maybe like having a drink or something, and Charlie's like, had melatonin and is like falling asleep. So it's like, it's like
That's
I'm like,
really difficult.
and Christy's like, so I mean. And anyone that's been in an LD, as they say, that thing where it's like you call your boo or whatever, and you've just stepped outside a party or something, and you're like, yeah, it's a great party, and they're like going to work or something, and they're like, I literally want to like jump in front of
Yeah, they're like,
the
I can't
subway.
hear you
Yeah,
say
I
this,
can't
right?
handle it. And you're like, everything's great.
Great. And they're like, I hate my life.
Dean just did a handstand. Yeah. What do you think, Charlie?
I think the goal of the band has also changed from when we
Right.
first started.
Yeah,
We
interesting.
were so eager to be successful. Like everything
Yeah.
was trying to be the biggest band that we could be.
Yeah.
And now we're older and we've done 5 albums, and the priority now is just make everybody happy. Like
Yeah,
just
that's
keep
really
everyone like
beautiful.
engaged and like enjoying being in the band. We've released so much music. It's
Yeah.
like ridiculous now. We don't need to try and be like the biggest band in the world.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Just want to enjoy yourself.
just keep it going as long as you can, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
have
for
fun
sure.
with it. And
And I think it's one thing that we've been super blessed with, even in those periods where we've really pushed hard and stuff, is like we've always been able to do it on our own terms. Like we haven't had too much external pressure of stuff. That I think that's
great.
kind of what's given us longevity as well. Is
Yeah.
like we've probably said no to more things than we've said yes to at certain points. But yeah, to echo Charlie's thing, like I definitely feel like we're in a period now where it's like we kind of don't have anything left to prove in the sense of like it's not like we're trying to like break the mold and that sort of stuff, that like we do it purely for like enjoying it and like doing the things that we kind of want to do as opposed to the things that you think you should do. Yeah, and I think being around for a long time, you just realize that nobody has any idea in like the music industry. Like if there was a blueprint plan that you could sit down and say, great, so you've got to release an EP and then you do this and this and this and then you will be Geese. It's like,
It doesn't work like that. Yeah.
Like I've been to many a Geese show where there was like no one, and there were like, like having friends in the industry and stuff, there were lots of people being like, well, this band needs to do this and this, and it's like, in retrospect, it's like, hey, you kind of want to pull those people aside and be like, hey, so something's going to tip one day and they're going to be the biggest band in the world, and it's to
literally.
do with nothing that any of you people here. It's just like timing and all these other things. That's a
100%.
long tangent, but
no,
yeah.
it's a great tangent though.
I think it also has come across musically in this album as well, though, right? Because previously we were very like considered about the stuff we would put out, and it all kind of maybe fit more of like a mold, and that we wanted to be very like dreamy and delicate with our music, and now we just don't give a fuck, and we're like just releasing ridiculous songs like Blister, which we were just like, oh, let's just write the poppiest, most ridiculous song we could make. Right?
For sure.
I think it's important to be secure with your band, and I mean, look at the album that you guys have produced. So it's
It was
it's
fun.
important.
That was like
That's good.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
tell.
You
Yeah.
can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so great. You want to be able to be doing it and being like, this is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then remind yourself, okay, take it back to why we're doing it, I guess. And because you've been doing it for so long, like you say, things have changed, your goals have changed. Because it must have been crazy coming right off the bat, going on tour with Chet Faker, going on tour with Lord, like...
those early years
Yeah,
felt like such a
Fever dream.
Yeah,
like
I can
non-stop writing, recording,
Were you
touring,
guys
like
just
bam,
what
bam,
the
bam.
hell?
We'd always try and release an album or a record at least like every year, and we were always doing one in advance, right? Like by the time one had come out, we would always have the next one pretty much finished. So
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And like when I think back on that as well, it's like in some ways I'm glad that we, like the story of the band has been sort of just like slowly going up the gondola as opposed to like a massive boom and then bust, and like we've seen that happen with peers of ours, friends of ours, and like that level of pressure can be really intense. And like I think for us, like even in those periods where we were really cranking it, we were still doing it on our own terms. We were like recording the way we wanted to, we were producing it ourselves, we were releasing the way we wanted to. Like we didn't have too many people in our ears being like, hey, what's really in now is this, and you know. But yeah, definitely, it feels like it feels like a lifetime ago that was where we were at.
I think that's
Yeah.
helpful though for our longevity because everything's sort of been like a consequence of the work that we've put in. We've always had to just work consistently, and then we'll get a few more like listeners, like a few more opportunities. Maybe we'll have like another booking agent or a manager or something like that. It's never been because of something external to us, like a big movie placement or something like that.
And also, like, some of those early experiences, like, for instance, the Shep Faker tour, like, I feel like that was kind of good to see that early on, that's, like, kind of top of the mountain. And it's like, this is cool and this is fun, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Like, I think of some of the best moments we've had in the band there in, like, random dive bars we've played in Kansas to, like, 50, 60 people that, like, that is as fulfilling as playing to 6,000, 7,000 people. You know what I mean? That it's like, I think if that eludes you for a long time, you can trick yourself into thinking that is what you truly want, where what you kind of want is to just like do things the way you want to do and just kind of chill.
100%.
And we've never had crazy high expectations either, I think, because of that. Like everything's just been, we get out what we put in.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's the dream, honestly.
Yeah, if we can keep it going.
You can keep it going, and you can, you guys have been really successful, and you have kept it going. So it's just.
And I think for us as well, like we are all such huge fans of like recorded music, like like how records sound, that like being able to continue to like for instance on this record we worked with Simon Gooding, who's a New Zealand mixer who like mixed the last Phase of Days record and Reb Fountain and stuff like that, and just finding another creative connection like that was just really fulfilling to have, like continue like building community like that. I think is really important too.
And maybe to go back to your earlier question about like us, the interpersonal relationships and whether it's better to be apart or together, I think something that's kept us going for as long as it has is because we're just like all really good mates, and we want to record and tour and stuff because that's the only time we get to see each other, right? So maybe I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, totally.
That's so nice.
For a second there, I forgot this was a podcast interviewing us, and I got really anxious that we hadn't been asking you guys enough questions. All of a sudden, I was like, we're talking a lot about ourselves.
So, Girls Who Music, how did you guys start, and what has kept you going for the song?
Quick intermission on the podcast. Are you like fans of podcasts? Like, what do you listen to?
No, we're fans of music.
Yeah, we're
fans. That's why we started the podcast.
Yeah. Not Guilty Podcast.
Guilty music. We just love music. And then we're talking about it nonstop. It was actually this time last year after Laneway.
Yeah, we decided.
Honestly, and good on you for doing it, because I really hate the rhetoric around like people shouldn't podcast. Like there's a lot of that, and it's kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, I think the more podcasts, the better.
Oh, thank you. And I just think have fun.
Are you what? Like, how long have you two known each other?
Since high school.
Oh,
We've been friends since high school. Yeah. So.
And was music like the first thing you both connected over, or?
No. We connected over the gym.
Hell yeah.
This is
so random.
Not uni, at high school.
At high school.
Yeah, and then just like last year, we were just talking about music a lot and going to gigs and stuff, and then we just decided. I jokingly was like, let's start a podcast, ha ha ha.
And I was like,
she's like, okay,
let's go.
And then it just kind of evolved from there. But particularly, like, we wanted to give a platform for artists, specifically Kiwi artists.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important, and they just don't get enough
online presence or
praise, I think.
We are very removed at the bottom of a well done here.
Yeah.
And also I like long form. Like I like listening to long form interviews with artists, or just like them talking.
You get to know them more. Yeah. What is your dream artist that you guys would like to collab with? And there's no budget or anything. Like you can literally.
Can they be dead?
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like touring, I've always loved the idea of going on tour with Phoenix. I don't know why. That's always been like, the French band like that. Yeah, but if they were still alive, I would love to just meet David Bowie. They would be like my all-time fave. But I don't know. They're all like, I've recently been on a massive, and this is a bizarre tangent, but like Norah Jones.
Oh my God, yes. I really love Nora.
I know. There's like, actually, if you come to my DJ set at Goblin, I'll be playing a really deranged deep house edit of
Are you serious?
Sunrise.
Are you serious?
Oh my
It's
god, hell
really
yeah.
good.
Great song.
It's for the heads.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, what's my collaboration?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can it be like any time in history?
Yeah, who
Yeah.
cares?
So I would probably
Shakespeare,
choose,
bro.
Like, yeah, Shakespeare. Shakespeare's in the room with us, and like 1970s or like 80s New Order, like
Oh,
Bernard
yeah.
Sumner, like in his most drugged up form. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Him and Shakespeare and Christie would invite some great lyrics.
Yeah. Suck.
B2B with Shakespeare though, pretty sick, hey.
That's pretty wild, yeah. What is that your answer?
Yeah.
Shakespeare in New Order.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Nice. Okay.
Do people still try to like update Shakespeare for the kids?
Romeo and Juliet, like Baz Luhrmann's
Yeah,
Romeo
like
and
there's
Juliet.
Luhrmann, or like, you know, it's like, it's Shakespeare, but it's hip hop.
We
I'm
saw
sure.
Hamnet.
Yeah, I
Oh.
really
That's a
want to see
beautiful
it.
film.
Was
Max
it good?
Richter score, so good.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it really sad?
Yeah, it's very sad, but it's very
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
And
Very
And
good.
that's with old mate Paul Mescal,
Yeah.
Paul
Yeah.
Mescal, yeah.
who dates Gracie Abrams, and before that, Phoebe Bridgers. And they were allegedly engaged.
Have you guys ever met someone, like someone who you admire, and they are a Yumi Zouma fan, and you're like, whoa?
Yes, this happened to me in New Zealand of one of my all-time heroes,
Oh my god,
Who's
who?
that?
Jeremy Wells.
No way.
You know Jeremy
God.
Wells from
The
name
Eating
sounds
Media
familiar.
Lunch, and he is on
Yeah.
Radio Hauraki. He's right, and he was newsboy, and I met him in a New Zealand on air thing, and I was like, hey, I just want to say I really love blah blah blah, and he was like, oh, Yumi Zouma, I love you guys, and I was like, yeah, and then he like mentioned the song. That was like a good one.
Oh my god.
That
That's
was a
cool.
good one. But also once Rob Thomas, who
Matchbox 20.
from Matchbox 20, and also
Wow.
sings Smooth, you know,
With Santana.
he tweeted about us, which then maybe didn't feel as good because I think he is an intern that just tweets about a ton of new music, and it's always like obscure indie music.
And
it's
still, it's
yeah.
you know, tied to him.
outside. Who else?
I mean,
What about you,
when
Charlie?
Lord asked us to tour with her,
I
that
mean,
was
yeah.
dope.
Yeah, that is-
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
We're seeing
Probably
her
the
next
biggest
week.
one.
We went swimming with Jamie X once.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
What the hell? That's so
Well,
random.
swimming. It was a very small pool. I don't think anyone was swimming. We were all just sort of hanging.
Standing there.
Not that we ever got confirmation of this, but I did hear a rumor once that someone was in the car with Zoe Deschanel
Oh yeah.
and played a song for Zoe and Gwen, and she said, "Oh, I like this. Send it to me."
Whoa!
Well, there you
you
go.
go.
There you go.
Maybe if we're lucky, we can get
500 Days of Summer 2.
I was going to say a peak millennial cringe ukulele cover with
Yeah.
what's his name? Jason Gordon.
Gordon Levitt.
Jason
Oh,
Gordon.
Who
my
was
God.
a co-star with our drummer Olivia in
Oh my god.
In, the show that was shot in Wellington, where he's a drummer.
what's it called?
I don't know.
I want to say like
There was a show.
Sentimental
He
Man
lived
or
in
something.
Wellington during COVID, and he made a TV show about being like a teacher that had a dream to be a musician.
Oh my god, I do not know this show.
And
Yeah,
then then they got a bunch of New Zealand musicians to be in the thing, and she was
She was the drummer in his band, right?
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Whoa, that's so cool.
And he was also in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
It really
Great
is such
film.
a small world. Great film.
We actually, we'll bring it back to the album. There is
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
lyric
yeah.
on one of the songs that says, I saw the PM in the lobby today, and we saw John Key in the lobby of a hotel, like the day we were leaving to a thing, and I was like, holy.
To go back to famous people who have endorsed Yumi Zouma, though,
Yes.
Chloe Swarbrick opened for us
Oh yes.
at the San
yes,
Francisco
yes.
Pop House in
Oh my
Wellington
god,
in
that's
2000.
Fun. She went to our
2015.
high school. That was a great conversation
Yeah,
about,
that was
about
so
everything
fun.
and
Everything.
anything.
Thank you
Yeah.
for having
It was
us.
so fun.
Yeah, it's been so lovely to chat to you guys about your new
Likewise.
album, about who you are, about Yumi Zouma, about everything.
Shakespeare, John Key.
John Key, Chloe Swarbrick. It's been so great, and we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so
today. It's been
much.
so lovely.
Thank you.
So lovely to get to know you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had lots of fun. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll pop all of Yumi Zouma's details down below and a link to their new album.
Yeah.
So you have to go check it out if you haven't heard it already. It's great.
You
We
have
love
to
it.
go check it out.
Yeah.
Smash that like button, hit subscribe.
Yeah.
You know what to do.
Follow us. Follow Yumi Zouma.
I love that closeout.
Bam.
Bam. Bam.
Mic drop.
You heard it. Mic drop. All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.